Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal, and I'm here with Jeff and Matt today. Matt, start with you. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I had a great experience at a local high school production yesterday.
Oh, yeah. You went to Colleen's production of Chicago at Riverside Brookfield High School. So thanks for coming, you and Jane. And Jeff, how are you doing? You and Angie came as well?
Yeah, absolutely loved it. It was a great performance. Colleen killed it on her first go.
It was the best live production of Chicago I've ever seen.
Oh, good.
Well, definitely top one of one. So.
Well, she'll appreciate that. If anyone in the crop came, I know she posted in there, you asked for her to post last production. Thank you for coming. If we didn't see you, sorry we weren't able to. We were up in the balcony.
In our ivory tower.
Yeah, like Waldorf and Statler. But yeah, thank you. And Ken isn't here, unfortunately, today. He was so inspired by the show that he wants to become a razzle-dazzle lawyer like Billy Flynn. So he's taking the LSAT right now with no training. See how that goes.
Usually goes well, I imagine.
Yeah,
it worked okay for Leo and Catch Me If You Can.
That's true. It did. He just said he was a doctor. He said, I concur. And then he watched, I think it was Perry Mason, and just learned how to become a lawyer. And he passed the bar. But yeah, and Ken also is working on a new type of trivia game that we're calling Triviality, like Wordle, but it's just triviality questions that we've gotten wrong, which is plentiful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought it was just triviality questions that are really boring.
Yeah.
It could be that too.
Very dull.
Which is most of the ones we've written.
Yes, but speaking of questions that aren't boring.
And that we haven't written.
We have a very special guest contestant and guest host today. We'll start with our guest contestant. She has a little connection to where we're recording right now. We'll let her talk about that, but she's an Oakland 5 supporter on Patreon, which we appreciate. Coming to us from Maryland, that is Liz Olson. How are you, Liz?
Hi, I'm doing well. I grew up in the same town that you guys are recording in or live in. And about 10 years ago, almost to the day, I moved out east. So I've been in Maryland for a while now, but I think you mentioned on one of your shows that you were recording in LaGrange Park, and I paused it, I rewound it, and I was like, did they just say LaGrange Park? It's very small geographically, not population-wise, but geographically.
You were that Leo meme pointing at the TV.
Yeah. What?
And what are you doing out in Maryland other than hearing, I'm sure, countless references to Marvel every day?
Oh, yeah, that I hear lots of. I work for the federal government, actually.
Oh, wow.
So I am, yeah.
Not at liberty to discuss any further.
Yes. Classified, redacted, etc.
Well, thank you for joining us and for reaching out to be on the show. We appreciate it. In order to have a game, Liz is going to need a partner first. So she's going to partner with Jeff. And I believe you came up with a team name based on what Liz is drinking right now.
Yeah, I believe we're going to be Afternoon Guinness.
Mm-hmm. Afternoon Guinness. All right. And Matt and I, Matt came up with a team name for us that I thought worked really well. And it's pretty simple. What is it, Matt?
Oh, yeah, just based off, headlines I've seen on all the news apps. We're going to be, Neal wrote a book. The book's coming out soon. We need to buy the book, and please pre-order the book.
Yeah. So being Patrick Swayze, Essential Teachings from the Master of Mullet, simple team name here. So, but to play the game, we need a host. And with this LaGrange Park local connection, who better than the busiest trivia worker person in all of the trivia lands? Just one of our favorite.
Very succinct name.
I know, yeah, just very long. One of those desk. What do you call them? Like the nameplates.
The placards.
Good
plates,
person
yeah.
at trivia writing.
Busiest person in trivia, as we like to say. But yeah, so excited to have Jay Borsom here, Rules Guy Impersonator on Patreon, our old friend, and just the best person around. So Jay, how are you?
I'm good. It's been a year already, huh?
It has been. You're right. I didn't even think about that. It has been a year.
Yeah, I got this running mechanic with you guys where apparently I'm just on once every calendar year.
Well, it's your yearly checkup,
this is...
like the doctor.
Oh, why would I just turned 41? Why would you remind me of what checkups are like?
What have you been up to? We know that there's a brand new venture that you're a part of that's really, really cool, and we'd love for you to talk about that. And then obviously any other streams and things people can check out.
Liquid Courage.
There it is. Yeah, keeping the online stuff going 2 years into the pandemic on Twitch. Starting to break back into live venues in the Chicagoland area, hopefully beyond at some point. So if you know a venue and you want to host trivia and you don't want to be bothered with writing it or coming up with a concept, call me, text me, page me. People still have pagers, right? It's 2022.
They're back. Yeah, that's true. The 90s are
But
back.
beyond that, the big thing that I've built in the last couple months is my version of something like a Learned League or a BP Trivia or some of the other like web-based trivia formats out there. It is the World Trivia Federation, which was absolutely named so that the initials could spell WTF because I am secretly 12. And that goes out about twice a week right now. Eventually, it's going to be 3 times a week. It's a 10-question quiz, currently just managed through Google Forms. And then I do all the grading and scoring through Google Sheets, post a leaderboard. We use a rating system as opposed to specific matchmaking and divvying people up into different categories based on their skill. So you always have the opportunity to kind of move up or down the leaderboard. It's finding its legs.
Yeah, my favorite thing was somebody asked, how do you prevent cheating? And you said something along the lines of, there's no prize and we, who cares, more or less.
Yeah, I think my gut shot response was, well, how does anybody prevent cheating? We don't. We just ask you not to suck.
Yeah. Please don't cheat.
It's the honor system. Yeah, and we know we have a lot of listeners.
How could you have fun like that?
I know.
Well, they just have very dark souls and lives, I guess, who cheat. But we know that many of our listeners play Learned League, or at least have talked about it. And you told me a couple differences, like you just mentioned, that I thought was nice and had me interested, which is the rankings are different, and it's just answering questions. You just want to answer questions, have fun, and there's no like extra stress on top of it. Is that right?
Yeah, one of the big things I wanted to address that I've never really loved about the idea of, for instance, a Learned League is the concept of a forfeit. I figure it should be more opt-in than opt-out to participate. So I kind of built the system around you can passively participate whenever you want to, as opposed to being set in a match that you have to do at a certain day at a certain time against a certain opponent. If you need to take a couple of weeks off, or you're not feeling a particular quiz, just don't do it. I mean, there's a nominal penalty if you're one of the highest rated players for skipping a quiz, but it's really, really nominal.
Awesome. Well, we're so happy that you started that, and we're excited to hopefully have a bunch of people in the crop and our listeners join to play some great trivia. But we have to play some great trivia today. So let's throw it to the rules guy and see what we're going to get today.
The rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there'll be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated and will have a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop.
Cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Was that another member of Bowling for Soup, Matt?
Secretly, they're all members of Bowling for Soup. Chris Hansen, Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, I would love to hear 1985 in Gilbert Gottfried's voice.
You may be the only one.
I think for like $100 we could make that happen.
we probably could just send him the lyrics. Well, Jay,
he did a WAP cover for free.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's true. So maybe we will. Maybe we'll send him the 1985 lyrics. Jay, feel free to take it away. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, but we are ready to play.
That rhymed too.
All right, so the really good news is I have a bunch of questions prepared for this game. The really bad news is I didn't prepare an entire round for this game, and we'll get into that in a moment. And the questions that I prepared are all former questions from previous quizzes in the World Trivia Federation. So to kind of mix things up a little bit, I'm going to have you as the teams in each round just randomly select a quiz and a question number from that quiz, and I'm just going to present that question to you.
Okay.
So I figure afternoon Guinness, we'll start with you calling out the shots for the first round. Neal wrote a book, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can call the shots for the second round. I have a swing round ready to go. I do not have a final round. And that is by design, because one of the things I've been doing on my streams recently is a concept called speed run trivia, where I take as much time as necessary to write 20 questions from whole cloth based on viewer suggestions. My current record is just under 40 minutes to write a 20-question game that we present on the back half of that quiz. So I figured it'd be kind of interesting if we emulate that for the final round today. So what I'm going to need from all 4 of you before we start is a keyword or a category. And during this game, I'm going to write a question that references that keyword or fits in that category. So we're going to do this very on the fly. Liz, I'm going to start with you. Give me a keyword or a category.
I don't know. Disney.
I knew it'd be Disney. 100%. I knew
Yeah,
it
I
was going
kind
to
of
be
did
Disney.
too.
The only thing I'm good at.
No,
All right, how
that's
about
not
you,
true.
Jeff?
Okay, well, for sticking on theme and things I'm good at, it also plays into Neal because I'm not assuming you're going to go the way I want it to. We're going to go magic.
Ooh.
It's not an
Magic,
illusion.
I can work with that. Let's move it over to Neal and see what you say.
I suppose because the book's coming out, I'll just be on the nose and predictable, and I'll say Spielberg.
It's not even
got
about
us.
Swayze.
Yeah,
Literally
obviously.
swerving
very
me there. I was
confused.
already typing
Is there a
Patrick
sequel?
Swayze. Matt, what do you think?
I think I'm missing baseball this time of year with the lockout, so I'm going to go with Greed.
Ooh. The Fox game?
Hot takes.
So that gets us to 4 questions. I need a 5th, so I reached out privately yesterday to Ken, and I'm going to open the email he sent me right now. This is the big Oscar reveal of the envelope, and it looks like the keyword that he suggested is
Japan.
ocarina.
Ooh.
He's
Okay.
been playing Majora's Mask. That's why.
Well, thank you for this convoluted setup, Jay. I look forward to playing this game.
So good news, you have a heads up on what the final 5 categories are going to be. So yeah, let's get into the actual meat and bones of the game, starting round number 1. Afternoon Guinness, I don't know how you guys want to delineate it, but what I need from you for question 1 is a pair of numbers from 1 to 10. They can be the same number. It is your choice.
Do you want to pick 3 and 7? Because they're both prime and together they make a prime.
Why don't you just go back and forth? She'll pick the first one, you go, and then let's go back and forth.
All right, so that's going to be quiz number 3. Question 7, and the category for that one is fashion. Here it is. What material was premiered as part of the World of Tomorrow at the World's Fair in New York in 1939, advertised as being derived from, quote, coal, water, and air, as opposed to a comparable Japanese imported material, which, due to geopolitical tensions at the time, helped it sell 4,000 pairs of a particular type of garment on the first day it was commercially available.
All right, so I wrote down an answer. You wrote down an answer. It's the same answer, so I guess we should just go with it.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, Liz, what are your thoughts? For newer materials, my first inclination was maybe like nylon.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I was thinking that the only Japanese material I can think of is silk.
Okay.
But I feel like that's probably older, but I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that would be manufactured that could also be a garment, made into some kind of garment. And I know, nylon is a newer material. So do you want to just kind of go with that?
That works for me.
Okay, we'll guess nylon.
That's a great answer. We didn't even think of that one. We wrote down spandex, elastic, and ultimately went with Velcro.
Okay, so we've got nylon and Velcro. Points are going to Afternoon Guinness on this one. Nice job. That was the invention by DuPont of nylon. All right, so I'm ready to move on if y'all are.
We are.
All right, we're taking it in turns, right? So you're going to get a pick from me. I will go with the classic 42, so 4 and 2.
All right, so that's quiz 4. Question number 2. The category for this one is food and drink. Oh, and you picked a good one. This is one of my favorites. While it's known by other terms as well, what name for the tasty offering that residents of Rhode Island may call a cabinet can be found as the title of a 2003 song that peaked at number 3 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 chart?
Liz, what do you know about this? Anything? You're a little bit geographically closer to Rhode Island than we are. So
I've been to Rhode Island.
One up on me.
But no, I was trying to come at it from the song angle because I'm probably more likely to know the song than.
Okay, so we're thinking food-related song titles. Is that what we're looking for?
Food-related song titles.
All I can think of is the "Give me pizza."
No.
Is that because
Don't
Liz
stop
is here?
until you hit this guy.
I'm completely lost. Well, Milkshake is a legit song. So
That
you
is a legit
wanna
song.
lock in Milkshake?
I'm okay.
even though
I'm okay locking in an actual song.
So we're gonna lock in Milkshake.
Oh, I think they're right.
I think they're right too. We just kept getting focused on candy,
I couldn't
candy
stop
shop.
thinking about Mandy Moore.
I know you were drawing Mandy Moore singing Candy.
Oh, I thought Mandy Moore Candy was earlier.
It is
though.
earlier, but we locked in with Candy anyway.
I'm missing you, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not by much. I think that song came out right around 2000, maybe 99. But points going to Afternoon Guinness again on this one. It's a milkshake.
Yes.
Yeah, the theory, from what I could tell, is that in that New England, Rhode Island accent, the word carbonate kind of comes out as cabinet, and it's been kind of mutated over the years to be cabinet.
Okay.
And Rhode Island, known for weird drinks, like I think coffee milk is their state beverage.
Yeah, and I'm sure like an egg cream is similar. It's got the carbonation in there, so I'm sure it's all in the same family.
Yeah. Oyster shakes, whatever else they drink out
If they were in Boston, the milkshake would bring all the boys to the yard.
Hobbit yacht, more specifically.
Thank you, Jeff.
Liz, we'll throw to you for question 3. Give me a pair of numbers if you would.
1 and 9.
So quiz 1, question 9. The category for this one was language. What word pertaining to something sailors should avoid, Dutch for grinding stream, was first popularized by Edgar Allan Poe in the title of an 1841 short story, and from 1988 to 2014 could be found as the title of an attraction at Epcot in Walt Disney World?
I think I might know it.
Oh, wonderful. I was hoping with the potential Disney tie-in, you would have it.
Do you have any idea on this one?
No.
I'm just trying to think of the Edgar Allan Poe angle. I mean, you have Telltale Heart, which is not that. I'm just trying to think the Pit and the Pendulum.
I think something that sailors should avoid. Do you think this is a pirate thing?
Possibly.
Sea madness would be something.
Sea madness. I was thinking Siren initially. But
I also thought Siren for very obvious conglomerate reasons.
yeah. Do you want to just say Siren for no reason?
Sure.
Because I don't think I can come up with anything else.
Yep. Siren it is.
So Epcot stands for Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow, and it is Future World and the World Showcase. And in Norway, they used to have a ride called Maelstrom, but it closed in 2014 and became frozen.
Oh.
So I locked in Maelstrom.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it sure did close in 2014 and become frozen. Points again to Afternoon Guinness. The Dutch word is maelstrom.
We are getting crushed.
We are getting crushed, just like the Pit and the Pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep the beating continued.
I'll go 81. Don't know why, but
We might get Neal wrote a book on the board on this one. The category is film.
Let's hope.
Hope so.
Despite 4 Academy Award wins across a significant number of nominations across their 60-year-plus career, what Hollywood great only ever appeared in an Oscars award ceremony once? That appearance was in 1974 and was as a presenter of an honorary award to friend Lawrence Weingarten while wearing gardening attire and clogs.
Okay, we can lock in.
wow.
My brain immediately said, there's only a few people who've won 4 acting awards, so it's probably someone who's like a composer or a director.
Yeah, I was trying to think of maybe directors that just didn't go to Academy Awards. I don't know. Do you want to just go Coppola?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
It's better than anything I'm coming up with.
Not a bad guess.
All right, so they went with Coppola, and which is a good guess. But usually when you think of 4 Oscar wins over a career, you think of a performer, and someone who didn't really show up to the performances and to the telecasts was Katherine Hepburn. So we went with Katherine Hepburn.
No way.
All right, so one of you is correct. You picked a couple Hollywood legends there, Coppola, and which Hepburn did you say specifically, Neal?
Katherine.
And yeah, points going to Neal and Matt on this one. It is Katherine Hepburn who won 4 Oscars, all for Best Actress, which I believe is the most of any actor to date, and only showed up at the Oscars once, and it wasn't even to accept one of those awards. She was kind of notoriously anti-award ceremony until she was asked by her friend to present an award in 1974, and she dressed for the occasion. All right, so let's move in. Liz, your turn to throw a question number at me.
2 and 4.
All right, quiz 2. Question number 4. The category is the arts. What talented playwright / composer / actor / singer / director claimed in his autobiography that he wrote one of his most popular works, the 1941 play Bly the Spirit, in only 5 days? Now, it should be noted that despite jokes to the effect, there is no evidence that he was actually afraid of the Christmas holidays.
Oh boy, I don't know. I mean, the only playwright that even comes to mind is Tennessee Williams.
I was trying to think of any puns or jokes about being afraid of Christmas.
Yeah, who would be afraid of Christmas?
I don't know. That was
Shall we just say Tennessee Williams since
yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. I think that's about as good as anything I'm gonna come up with.
Yeah, I was having trouble on this one. I think I was maybe focusing too much on American playwrights. Our official answer is Tennessee Williams, but I think the clue hit me at the end here when we had to try to think of someone who was afraid of Christmas. And I think there's a British playwright whose last name is Coward, which would fit the clue. But we unfortunately locked in with Tennessee Williams.
Should have pulled that thread a little tougher there, Neal. No points on this one. Tennessee Williams, a good guess, but yeah, the joke is that he is afraid of Christmas because he's a Noel coward.
He was one of his last appearances was in the 1969 Italian Job.
That's right.
Nice.
He was like in the prison, like the prison warden or something like that.
Yeah,
Oh, no
he was
kidding.
in a
I
ton
don't
of
remember
stuff.
that. Yeah.
Well, looks like after 5 questions, we are still getting beat down over here at Neal Wrote a Book. You should buy it. We only have 10 points, and looks like Afternoon Guinness has 30 points. So let's let the torture continue.
All right, we'll move over to Jeff to pick a question for number 6.
Well, 6 and 9.
Nice.
Oh, I wanted to pick that one.
All right, so quiz 6, question 9, the category dips back into fashion. And that's going to happen in a random game like this. With a logo consisting of the brand's initials skewed slightly to the left in a thin serif font, with the second letter in lowercase, what California-based fashion retailer founded in 1972 got its start as a surfboard brand? Which makes sense considering the location made by reversing the order of the 2 words in its name.
All right, so we were mentally shopping around a PacSun trying to find this brand, and we're not 100% sure. But we did lock in with an answer, so we are all locked in here.
I'm not great with fashion, Liz. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
The only like 2-word fashion brands that I can think of are like Louis Vuitton.
Yes.
And like it's not that.
No. Do you want to go American Eagle?
I'm fine with it.
Okay. I don't know
Is
where
there
the
nothing better?
I don't know where the base would be for starting maybe in California with surfing, but we'll go American Eagle.
All right, Matt, you picked your favorite company of all time.
Yeah, and American Eagle is definitely capital than lowercase, so that sounds right. But I went with a company that's definitely California-based, started in the 70s as a surf sailor type company, and we went with Von Dutch.
I think that's the 3rd Dutch reference in this half already. Real close on that idea, Matt. Unfortunately, no points to anybody. The retailer in question here is Ocean Pacific.
Oh, Ocean Pacific. That was the one I couldn't think of. Yeah.
They are OP in the fashion world.
I remember hanging out at PacSun, just like, what shirt am I going to buy with my Dickies shorts? Yeah.
Gotta rock them Dickies.
We haven't done 5 yet as the first number, so 51.
All right, that is a question in the category of politics. Due exclusively to his birth surname, what figure, whose more familiar name comes from his stepfather, is the only king to ever hold the office of President of the United States? The name by which he is remembered today was formalized when he was 22, but had been his de facto name since the age of 3 when his mother remarried.
Liz, we can lock in.
So they're locked in. The only reason I think I have an inline on this, and Matt agrees, is I want to say I wrote just a question like in the same ballpark, and I almost forgot it. But then as we were looking at each other, Matt jogged my memory because you wrote down Reagan, but I was like, no, it's not Reagan. But then I was going backwards, and it's very close. And I believe it's Gerald Ford. So that's what we're going to lock in with.
Yeah. Born with the last name King. We agree. We said Gerald Ford.
Yeah, and points around. I think it's the first time in this half.
Right.
Gerald Ford, born Leslie Lynch King Jr., is one of only 2 U.S. presidents that you know better by an assumed name than their birth name, unless you count like nicknames for their first name, like Jimmy Carter. The other one being Bill Clinton, who was born William Jefferson Blythe III, I believe.
Ford always makes me think of Dana Carvey. Gerald Ford died today,
I remember that sketch so much.
eaten by a pack of wolves.
All right, moving into question 8. Jeff, the number pick goes to you.
Let's go 9 to 5.
Working that one.
What a way to make a living.
Of course, Jeff would somehow stumble into a question in the category of geography.
Hell yeah.
Upon Arizona's admission to the Union in February of 1912, the lower 48 states were complete. What U.S. state just barely missed being able to call themselves the youngest state in the lower 48, having been admitted to statehood just over a month earlier?
Matt wrote down an answer that I feel pretty good about, knowing nothing about geography, and we'll lock in.
I feel like I remember it not being next to Arizona, because I remember, like, my brain wants to say New Mexico because it's right next to it, but
I know one of the other later ones was Oklahoma, but I think it was literally just filling in that area with New Mexico and then Arizona. So I'd like to go with New Mexico.
okay, that works for me.
We were in the same boat. We always know that Arizona, I feel like that comes up quite a bit. And I remember hearing, I think it's New Mexico. So we just said New Mexico.
New Mexico is correct. Nice job.
Ooh, wow.
Yep, New Mexico, state number 47, admitted to the Union like January 1912. Only 5 states have been admitted since the turn of the 21st century: Alaska and Hawaii, Arizona and New Mexico, and then the oldest of them is Oklahoma, which is admitted right around 1906, 1907. I forget the exact date offhand, but just a couple years sooner. All right, question number 9. Throw a couple numbers at me if you would, Liz.
72.
All right, quiz 7, question 2. The category is sports.
Hooray.
Ugh.
A race car driver who, among other career achievements, can boast 5 consecutive NASCAR Cup Series championships, and a head coach who can tout a pair of consecutive Super Bowl victories, are at least phonetically known by what full shared name?
Yeah, we'll say I guess we'll say John Madden. I don't know.
Yeah, I was working back and I thought, how about them Patriots? How about them Broncos? But then I got how about them Cowboys? And we got to Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, yep.
Yep, points going to Neal. Wrote a book on this one. Jimmy Johnson, spelled I-E, one of the greatest NASCAR drivers of at least the 21st century, if not of all time. And Jimmy Johnson with a Y, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, winning a pair of consecutive Super Bowls in the early 90s, the 1992 and 1993 seasons specifically. All right, question 10. To end the first half, we'll throw it to Jeff to throw the numbers at me.
Let's see. 104.
All right, so quiz 10, question 4, category on this one is politics again. What animal, part of the rodent family, even though its name evokes an ungulate, is frequently used by groups such as the Free State Project to symbolize libertarianism in the United States, much the way the donkey and elephant symbolize the Democratic and Republican parties? While the official symbol of the Libertarian Party is the Statue of Liberty, this animal is considered representative of the political philosophy because of its defensive tactics and non-aggressive nature.
Ron Swanson should be the symbol of the Libertarian Party, but Matt wrote down a guess, and we'll lock in.
I really want it to be the honey badger. But it's...
I swear to you that I was like, oh man, I want it to be a honey badger so bad.
Honey badger don't care.
I actually think I know it. Okay, so I'm thinking it's a porcupine. They're prickly, and that's mostly for defense. So,
We were thinking of defensive animals, the opossum, the armadillo, Lawrence Taylor, but we ended up going with the armadillo.
Good guesses. I will tell you that when this went out as part of the World Trivia Federation, a number of players misinterpreted my clue in the best way and went hedgehog, because that certainly evokes an ungulate as well. But the answer is porcupine, and points to Afternoon Guinness. Porcupines getting their name from the roots for pig and spiky.
Yeah.
Wow, good guess over there. Yeah, it looks like after 10 questions, we're a little bit closer to catching Afternoon Guinness, but over here at Neal Bought a Book, you should buy it. It's called Being Patrick Swayze, Essential Teachings from the Master of the Mullet. We have 40
Written
points.
by Neil E. Fisher.
Written by Neil E. Fisher.
Author, podcaster, director.
We only have 40 points, but Afternoon Guinness has 60 going into the swing round. So what is our swing round category, Jay?
So the swing round category for this episode is something I've done at a pub trivia theme round before. It's the second time I'm attempting the concept. It's called the alphabet game. I'm going to give you a series of 10 clues to trivia style answers, but the big concession here is that all 10 correct answers, when combined, will yield the English alphabet. All 26 letters used exactly once each. All right, so let's give you those 10 clues for the alphabet game. Number 1, the most common abbreviation for a particular edition of a book first commissioned in 1604 and published in 1611. Number 2, last name shared by a sitting U.S. senator, an explosive hit single performer, and an Oscar-winning actress. Number 3, term for a type of retail store found on military bases, or by inserting a number, the home exercise regimen created by Tony Horton in 2005. Number 4, the most commonly played word in North American Scrabble tournaments, which means the vital force that is inherent in all things. Number 5, 2001 film starring Mekhi Phifer, Julia Stiles, and Josh Hartnett based on a commonly adapted literary work. Number 6, word that precedes Cooper in the name of a title character in a series of PlayStation video games from the early 2000s. Number 7, shared last name of television siblings Simon and River, only seen for 14 episodes and a movie. Number 8, airport code for the second busiest airport in the US in terms of passenger boardings in 2020, with over 18 million passengers served. Number 9, substance that was added to Schedule 1 of the Controlled Substances Act in March of 2000. And number 10, unit of typographical measure equal to half the point size of the typeface, such as 8 points in a 16-point font.
Okay, we will look over these and be right back. All right, after the swing round, we have all of our answers locked in. And just to take a quick moment, we want to thank Liz and Jay for being Patreon supporters. They help us continue to grow the show. If you'd like to join them and get some extra audio content, some perks like posters and boxes and stickers and extra things like that, you can go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. You'll hear a monthly crop drop, a monthly Patreon bonus, and get access to any sort of events that we're going to try and plan when things start to open up a little bit more. But we couldn't do the show without all of your support. So please join Liz and Jay at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast.
All right, so again, the premise was the alphabet game. Correct answer set will use every letter of the alphabet exactly once, which I didn't want to give you this teaser going in. Means these answers are often going to be very short.
Mm-hmm.
2-3 letters on average.
We did figure that one out.
It just kind of has to be that way. Number 1, the clue was the most common abbreviation for a particular edition of a book, first commissioned in 1604 and published in 1611. We'll start with Afternoon Guinness. What did you come up with?
We said KJV, so King James Bible Version.
All right, and Neal wrote a book?
We had a similar idea, King James Bible, so we just went simple and said KJB.
So close, and I think that's going to affect you on the back end. 5 points to Afternoon Guinness. That is KJV, or King James Version. Number 2, last name shared by a sitting U.S. senator, an explosive hit single performer, and an Oscar-winning actress. Neal wrote a book. What did you come up with?
We're thinking it was Ted, Teo, and Penelope. We went with Cruz.
Yeah, realized that he is Dynamite, Teo Cruz, but we figured it out just based on the letters we had left at the time. We said Cruz.
Yeah, points around on that one. And as Matt pointed out, it is Ted, Teo with the song Dynamite, and Penelope Cruz, who offhand, I don't recall what she won the Oscar for, and maybe Neal can help me out on that.
Yeah, it was for a Pedro Almodovar movie. I'm trying to remember now.
Vicky Cristina Barcelona. I'm just kidding.
Actually, it was. I think it was.
Yes!
Or that was Woody Allen, but yes, I think it was
Nice.
Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
All right, number 3, I was looking for the term for a type of retail store found on military bases, or by inserting a number, the home exercise regimen created by Tony Horton in 2005. We'll throw it to Afternoon Guinness.
We said PX, or for the number would be P90X in the middle.
Okay, and Neal wrote a book?
As a former user of P90X for a very short amount of time, we also said PX.
It was P2X for you.
5 points apiece. They're often known by a couple other names. Canteen and Base Exchange, or BX, are in the mix, but PX or Post Exchange was the one that fit both halves. Number 4, the most commonly played word in North American Scrabble tournaments, which means the vital force that is inherent in all things. Neal and Matt, what did you think?
Yeah, I don't know how to say this word. I think it's pronounced like chi, but I'm not sure, but we went with QI.
Yep. I get called bullshit on a lot every time I play this. And we put chi, QI.
Yeah, it's a 10+ point play every time you do it, and you don't have to wait for a U to come up with it, which is why it's the most commonly played word in North American Scrabble tournaments. It is chi, spelled QI, as an accepted variant form of the typically Latinized CHI. Right. Number 5, 2001 film starring Mekhi Phifer, Julia Stiles, and Josh Hartnett, based on a commonly adapted literary work. We'll throw to Afternoon Guinness.
It's based on Othello, and it's O.
Yep, Liz was all over that.
We also went
Big Julia Stiles fan.
We also went with O.
Yeah, I feel like there was a period in Julia Stiles' career where all she did was modern retellings of like classic Shakespearean works, and one of them is O. Nice job all around. So we're getting the swing of this. Number 6, word that precedes Cooper in the name of a title character in a series of PlayStation video games from the early 2000s. Neal wrote a book. We'll start with you.
I was a big fan of the series. I believe that's Sly Cooper.
Yeah, not sure if he was part of the Family Stone, but we too said Sly.
Yeah, it's a good name for a Fox main character. Sly it is for 5 points apiece. All right, number 7, shared last name of television siblings Simon and River, only seen for 14 episodes and a movie.
Jeff knew this one. It's Tam.
Love Firefly.
I believe Jeff knew this one.
All right, Neal wrote a book. Did you come up with it as well?
We did. We were focusing on Simon and River for too long, but then once we saw 14 episodes in a movie, trying to think of what shows only had that, and yeah, we said the same thing. We said Tam.
Yeah, any opportunity to throw a Firefly reference in, I will take. Those are the siblings Simon and River Tam for 5 points apiece. Number 8, and we'll start with Neal wrote a book. I needed the airport code for the second busiest airport in the U.S. in terms of passenger boardings in 2020, with over 18 million passengers served.
Yeah, we think that Atlanta is number 1 and Houston might be number 2, but we could not think of the call codes. But we do know that JFK is pretty busy, so we just said JFK.
All right, Afternoon Guinness.
Geographically, I don't think you were far off with Houston, but I believe it's Dallas-Fort Worth, DFW.
Yeah, and that's 5 points to Afternoon Guinness. It surprised me as well when I did the research, because I've always put Chicago's O'Hare and Atlanta's airport is like 1 and 2, but apparently in 2020 DFW was the second most visited airport among passengers in the nation. I believe Atlanta is still number 1. Number 9, substance that was added to Schedule 1 of the Controlled Substances Act in March of 2000. Afternoon Guinness will give you the lead.
We said GHB.
That's what it is.
Yeah, we were so close. We were tapping around it, but we said RGH.
Yeah. No, GHB it is, and 5 points to Afternoon Guinness. This came as an amendment through a congressional act that was focusing on the use of illicit substances in the dating industry to commit crime. And number 10, unit of typographical measure equal to half the point size of the typeface, such as 8 points in a 16-point font. Neal wrote a book. Did you land this one?
We did not. We said sub, S-U-B.
So you may have noticed that we've gotten every other one right.
Mm-hmm. So you
That
probably
leaves
got
us
this one wrong.
2 letters, E and N. So we had a lot of sweating going on here, figuring out which order those should go in. We said N-E. Fingers crossed.
When you should have said E-N.
Oh, no!
No!
And another one of those 2-letter Scrabble words you see a bunch. N pronounced as the letter N. It's literally the width of a character N in a typeset, and it's half the size of an M dash in typography, which is based on the width of the letter M.
Well, it looks like after the swing round, Team Neal wrote a book. You should buy it. Picked up 30 points, bringing their total to 70. And Afternoon Guinness picking up 45 points, bringing their total to 105 going into the second round.
Well, you are in the driver's seat for the second half, Neal and Matt. That's the good news. We'll start with Neal. Same rules as the first half. Go ahead and give me a pair of numbers from 1 to 10. First one will define the quiz from the World Trivia Federation. Second will define the question number that we use.
All right. I will double my favorite number, and we're going to go 44.
All right. Quiz 4, question 4. The category is business. While in relationship-seeking parlance, it can be used to mean big, beautiful woman, beautiful black woman, or a number of other phrases. On the New York Stock Exchange, the symbol BBW is used to represent what retail brand? founded by Maxine Clark in 1997, with approximately 300 stores in the US and over 100 other locations internationally?
I have a guess. I don't know.
Okay, so they just locked in. We wrote down a bunch of names. I thought maybe it could be Lane Bryant, with Maxine Clark being sort of the founder of that company, and the BBW kind of fitting in. But Matt had a great guess too.
Yeah, we started with W, meaning potentially warehouse, and you said big box warehouse. 1997 is around the time we started seeing Big Lots around here, so we're going to say Big Lots.
I went completely off of BBW and I said Bath and Body Works.
Oh, man, that's way more right.
It is way more right, except that it isn't.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And I found this out through playtesting. The original methodology for this question was I was trying to find a company that had something you consider to be kind of a funny stock symbol. So I was looking through lists and I spotted BBW, and I wanted people to realize that doesn't really have anything to do with like the dating industry. When I had this run through my playtesters, so many of them said Bath and Body Works that I realized that this is a beautiful question for a very terrible reason, because there are two well-known mall-based operations whose names could be abbreviated to BBW. One is Bath and Body Works, and the other, the correct answer, is Build-A-Bear Workshop.
Oh.
Yep, the name Maxine Clark found on every Build-A-Bear tag.
You make your own best friend.
I know I'd heard that name. Build-A-Bear Workshop.
And
then you get their heart and you make a wish and then you put it in.
We need to make Triviality Build-A-Bears.
Oh, there you go. Matt, we'll throw to you for a pair of numbers.
We're going to go with 2 and 3.
All right, quiz 2, question 3. The category is language. Introduced by Crayola in 1993 as a red-leaning shade of purple, what flashy-sounding color name, also found as the name of a liqueur produced by De Kuiper, is theoretically, but impossibly in practice, worth 48 points in U.S. Scrabble tile scoring due to its 4 instances of a certain high-value tile?
My brain went to razzmatazz.
Ooh. I like it. I just like it. I don't know anything else that makes any sense.
I don't know. If
Tickle
it's
Me
a
Pink
liqueur.
was the closest I got, and that was way off, and you can't play it in Scrabble because it's more than one word.
We'll tickle you
unless
pink
there's
after the
hyphens or
recording.
You don't have to. It's plenty warm in here already. I'm turning pink. Razzmatazz sounds awesome. So I would like to lock that in if you're good with it.
Cool. Works for me.
All right. Thanks, Liz.
Great guess.
We also were leaning at the Z being the 4 letters, but we went with a much more simple pizzazz.
Ooh. So when I ran this, a couple players who know their colors a little more than I do guessed purple pizzazz, which fits so much of the clue, except for the part where purple pizzazz didn't appear in 1993. Correct answer is razzmatazz. And actually, I take that back. Purple Pizzazz did also appear in 1993. It's not the name of a De Kuiper liqueur.
Pick a number, Neal.
Oh, it's me. I'm going to go with the only starter on the Chicago Bears that I know will be great this upcoming year after a new sort of rebuild. And I'm going to say Roquan Smith's number, 58.
All right, quiz 5. Question 8. Category is film, because, of course, Neal gets a film question the way Jeff picked the geography question. A certain cinematic team consists in part of members named Brian Fantana, Champ Kind, and Brick Tamland. What is the colorful name of the 4th primary member, which can be found in the subtitle of the first film in which this quartet of characters appears?
We're good, Liz.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm Ron Burgundy. So you said Ron Burgundy.
We wanted to keep San Diego classy. And we said Ron Burgundy.
See, not all of these questions are riddles wrapped in enigmas hidden in my BS. Yeah, this is Ron Burgundy from the Anchorman series. Well done to both teams on a quickie.
Did you just throw a trident?
Brick killed a man.
I got to go and rewatch that. Quickly. It's been a while.
I am next.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to go with number 10 and 8.
All right, category for this one is the arts. And I'm really glad as I read this that this was the set of people for this question, because there is absolutely a connection here that I think you'll appreciate. The Chicken Ranch in a town called LaGrange inspired the titular setting of what musical that appeared on Broadway in 1978? The same establishment was the inspiration for a ZZ Top song named for the town, released 5 years earlier, which borrowed its opening guitar part and a certain lyric from, ironically enough, the work of boogie blues legend John Lee Hooker.
We can lock in over here.
My brain wants it to be the Music Man, but I don't know. I don't think that's right.
I don't know where Hooker comes in here.
Usually after you pay.
Oklahoma was the first thing that came to mind, but I don't think it was in the 70s. Music Man is a much better guess.
I feel like is Hooker a name of someone in Oklahoma?
It could be.
TJ Hooker.
Officer TJ Hooker, thank you.
Excuse me.
Treat William Shatner with respect. It could be. I don't know the musical well enough. Are you okay going with it?
I'm fine with it.
Okay. And if I'm wrong, then I'll owe you 10 points. I don't know how I'll Venmo that to you, but we'll try.
Well, I love this question because there was a reference to Dolly Parton earlier with 9 to 5, and Dolly Parton is a delight in the film version of the musical Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. So that's our answer.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense when you hear it, doesn't it? 10 points to Neal. Wrote a book. The Chicken Ranch was the name of an establishment referenced as the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. All right, so I believe we're back to Neal to pick for question 5.5.
I'm going to go with one of my favorite fictional film pitchers and a number that I wore when I played baseball, Wild Thing Ricky Vaughn, number 99.
All right, quiz 9, question 9. Category is technology. Used in 3 different contexts, what word can mean either a revolutionary means of converting energy into work, a revolutionary distribution service launched in 2003, or a revolutionary concept in education that serves to prepare students for the needs and demands of the 21st century?
Liz, I'm 100% certain we could lock in.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
The only thing I'm hanging on to here is the revolutionary distribution service. So it's got to be 2003. I'm just trying to think of did Amazon start then? I don't think
It's way before then.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of distribution services. Facebook was 2003.
No, it was like a program that was designed to get tech into kids' hands.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like a not Millennium Project, but something like that.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying get tech into kids and it's like Bionic Children.
Yeah, Bionic
Dare
Children.
to keep the kids off
I
drugs.
think we had a Deus Ex about that.
It's not. Is it like Synergy?
Synergy, that could work.
Synergize?
Yeah. The synergy of, that's better than anything I'm going to come up with because this one, I know what the question is asking. I just I can't pull the right terms, but synergy sounds good.
It's a term, and it's
Yeah, let's go with synergy.
Okay.
Liz, my thought on this one is I experienced 2 of the 3 this morning. One when I made my tea, one when I was playing video games, and I think it's Steam.
And Steam it is. 10 points to Afternoon Guinness. Revolutionary means of converting energy to work, as in the development of the Industrial Revolution, starting off with the kickoff of the steam engine. Revolutionary distribution service launched in 2003. That's when Valve put the Steam platform out, and it has really changed the way in which people interact with video game developers economically. And the revolutionary concept in education, STEAM, the acronym, which stands for an emphasis on education in science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics.
Great question.
Thank you.
That's STEM with some arts in it.
Yes.
Oh, you put some arts in my STEM.
That's on Matt's profile. So after 5 in the second round, it looks like Neal wrote a book. You should buy it. It's called Being Patrick Swayze, Essential Teachings for the Master of Mullet, available at all different bookstores, with 20 points picking up there to 90 total, and Afternoon Guinness picking up 30 more points, bringing their total to 135.
We're going to go with game 4, question 7.
All right, quiz 4, question 7. Category is science and nature.
Oh, I'm bad at this.
The Bayeux Tapestry is considered to be the first recorded visual depiction of what specific natural object, whose existence has been known since at least the 3rd century BCE, but didn't receive its current name until 1705. Some millennials may know what the object looks like outside of depictions, but nobody in Gen Z has ever directly seen it.
I have a guess, but I want to chat about it.
Yeah, I'd like to as well. I've got a couple ideas.
So I wrote a question about the Bayeux Tapestry ones.
Was it some sort of thing that was destroyed either by nature or some sort of wonder?
All I know is that one time I wrote a question about that, and I don't remember anything else, but the name sounded super familiar. And I don't think it's avocados. I know millennials love them, but Gen Z also likes them.
All right, we cannot come up with a good answer. We both love fruit gushers, or at least we did before the dentist told us to stop. So we're just going to lock in with gusher.
Liz, what were your thoughts?
I was going to guess Halley's Comet.
I like that because no one in Gen Z would have seen it.
No one in Gen Z would have seen it. It came out in like 86. I think.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. So
yeah,
I'm a millennial, but no, that's great. Yeah. I love it. That's a great answer.
All right, and the lead grows a little bit more for Afternoon Guinness. Halley's Comet is the answer. There is a depiction of it on the Bayeux Tapestry. Didn't get its name until Edmund Halley served as its namesake in 1705, and its last appearance in the night sky from Earth was in 1986, 1987, which means elder millennials like myself may have seen it. Nobody that was born after a certain year to be in Gen Z would have ever seen it directly. All right, back to Neal for question 7.
Well, speaking of birth years, as you just said, I'm going to go with mine, and we're going to go with 85.
All right, quiz 8, question 5. Category was music. David St. Hubbins, Nigel Tufnell, and Derek Smalls are the canonical lead singer, guitarist, and bassist for what music act whose name is properly stylized with a dotless lowercase I and an umlaut over the letter N? Notably, no drummer is listed in this question, as the band has a disastrous history with percussionists.
Yes, we're locked in over here.
Liz, I'm pretty sure that this is Spinal Tap.
Okay.
Yeah, David St. Hubbins. Yeah, I definitely remember this one. That's why I was a little worried though. Neal took a moment to lock in, so I was kind of wondering if we were right, but I'm pretty sure we are.
He also said this is Spinal Tap.
Yeah, and this is Spinal Tap. 10 points around. Some of the causes of demise for their previous drummers include such things as bizarre gardening accident, choking on vomit, either their own or somebody else's. It's unclear. Spontaneous combustion, explosion, jumping a shark tank on a tricycle, and being eaten by a pet python.
I feel like we haven't heard many questions from game 1, so let's do game 1, question 3, Lucky 13.
All right, category on this one is history. According to the lyrics of a Union favorite song that was rewritten to later become the Battle Hymn of the Republic, what is the name of the controversial 19th century American whose body, quote, lies a moldering in the grave?
Hell yeah. We can lock in. Love this question.
What do you know about people in graves?
That you're not supposed to rob them.
Correct. I don't know. I know the song Battle Hymn of the Republic. I feel like I was just talking about it maybe on a game that's coming out soon, but I don't know whose grave was robbed. I think Ulysses S. Grant lived past the beginning of the 20th century.
Yeah.
But do you want to just go Ulysses S. Grant?
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. So this one I'm pretty sure is definitely known for a couple things: Bleeding Kansas and his raid on Harper's Ferry, Virginia. I believe this is John Brown's body, who's a moldering in the grave.
And his truth is marching on. John Brown is the correct answer. There, 10 more points to Afternoon Guinness.
You were right with the Civil War era, Neal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
At least I was close.
Yeah.
Number 9 is going to go back to Neal to select.
Oh, great. I don't know if we've had a game or question, from number 3. Maybe we have, but I'm going to say 37.
I already did that one. The answer is nylon.
It sure is,
Okay.
and you sure did.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say no on that.
Okay.
Well, then we'll go with the best wingman in Chicago history. We'll go 33.
33, category on this is science and nature. Anopheles, is among the several genera of what specific living creature, with the said genus being particularly maligned for its exclusive connection to a specific malady that caused the deaths of an estimated 627,000 people in 2020. While not malicious, the creature is nevertheless in a maleficial symbiotic relationship with other such species as humans.
I think I got this one, but
Okay, I think I know it too, but I'm happy
Oh.
to go with what you have.
you can read it off. I trust you.
Yeah, all right, we're unfortunately we're gonna go with the famed barbecue sauce promoted by Julia Stiles after the release of the film Mesquite O.
I don't think you had to say it like that, but I would agree. I think it's the mosquito.
Yeah, that would be the creature maligned for the malady that's not malicious but is maleficial, and that is malaria. Mosquito is the living creature we needed here. I just wanted to see in the writing of this if I could find 4 words that also start with the same prefix as malaria to give you that subconscious nudge in the right direction. And it seems to have worked. All right, then question 10 to end the second half. Matt, take it away with a pick.
The last one, let's go with game 10, question 10. Why not?
You got it. Category on this is language. A certain English word, which means a particular body part or slangily some money, is false friends with a French word, often experienced after enjoying a work of international cinema. What is that word?
I don't know if we should just lock in with your answer.
It is a body part and slang term for money.
Okay, let's end the regulation on a low note and just lock in with what you have. Maybe we'll be lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can just say something stupid and lock in.
Sure.
We already locked in.
Do we have even a guess?
Sure. No.
Okay, they got nothing.
We got nothing.
Thinking body parts, money. I don't know if we have any skin in the game, so we just said skin.
I want to let you know this, I believe, was the hardest question to date that the World Trivia Federation has seen. 15% of respondents were able to get it. The answer here is fin. Yep. As in a body part found notably on fish. Slang for a $5 bill is a fin, and false friends in this case just means 2 words in 2 different languages that look and sound the same but come from completely different origins and have completely different meanings. And if you're experiencing a work of international cinema, the final thing you see on screen might be the French word fin.
I would like to say how poetically resonant it is that we're saying fiend at the end of regulation.
It is the end of regulation on a great question from Jay there. And it looks like Team Neal Wrote a Book is only going to pick up 20 more points, bringing their total of 110 to wager with. And Afternoon Guinness, almost perfect in the second half of the round, picking up 40 more points, bringing their total to 175. And if I remember, at the beginning of the game, one of the coolest things that's happened on this show, Jay has been writing questions for the categories of Disney Magic, Spielberg, Greed, and Ocarina. Is that correct, Jay?
That is correct. Those questions are written. I didn't know what they were going to be when we started this, but they've been written and polished a little bit while you all were thinking through some of the other questions. I'm ready to go into the final round if you are.
All right, all the wagers are locked in. And just to note one more time just how incredible it is what Jay has done. She wrote 5 final questions during the game while we were playing. So we're going to throw it over to Jay, and you can take it away.
All right. So thank you so much for that praise in advance, which is the best way to praise my content. Question 1 in the final round. The category suggested was by Liz, and it is Disney. Disney Cruise Line features 2 classes of ship in service as of the end of 2021, the Magic and Dream class of ships. A third line, which is set to join the fleet in 2022, includes the Disney Wish cruise ship and is named fittingly for what character? No word on if this ship will set sail from South Padre Island or not. All right, this was Jeff's suggestion. The category or keyword was magic. The word magic appears exactly 2 times in the list of every U.S. Billboard Hot 100 #1 song to date. Name both the #1 song by a group named Magic and the artist behind a #1 song titled Magic. Number 3, this was Neal's suggestion. The category is Spielberg. As a last name, Spielberg is derived from the German for what word, which features in the plural as the title of a 2009 film directed by Zack Snyder, not Steven Spielberg. Number 4, Matt asked for a question about Greed. Greed was the title of a short-lived big money game show that aired on Fox from 1999 to 2000, hosted by what well-known name in game shows, who has been fairly criticized in recent years for a number of tweets that, among other things, claimed that the CDC, Democratic Party, media, and medical industry were lying about the COVID pandemic, which was retweeted by Donald Trump back when he could, retweet. And number 5, Ken mailed in the suggestion of a keyword of ocarina. The Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time, is frequently ranked in the top echelon of greatest video games of all time, according to critics and publications. But conversely, the game Zelda, the Wand of Gamelon has been named one of the 10 worst video games ever created by multiple reviewers, mostly because it really sucks. This game was released in 1993 for what unsuccessful console produced by the Dutch tech company Philips?
Okay, we're going to go over these questions and be back with our answers. Okay, all the answers have now been locked in. We're going to go through the questions one more time, give our answers, and see how this game is going to turn out.
All right, question 1. The category was Disney on behalf of Liz's suggestion. Disney Cruise Line features 2 classes of ship in service as of the end of 2021, the Magic and Dream class of ships. A third line, which is set to join the fleet in 2022, includes the Disney Wish cruise ship and is named fittingly for what character? No word on if this ship will set sail from South Padre Island or not.
We guessed Jiminy Cricket.
Wager on that was 30.
Okay. And Matt and Neal, what did you throw down?
We wagered 20 points on this one, and we were between Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket, and we went Pinocchio.
All right. So unfortunately, both teams will be losing their wagers on this one. There were a pair of very subtle clues in this. The first is the fittingly in reference to a cruise ship, because I wanted you to start thinking about Disney films that are connected with the water. And the other one was the throwaway reference to South Padre Island, Padre being the Spanish for father. It is the Triton class of ship.
Okay.
I just saw a commercial for this, and I could not think of the name. They're already airing commercials for it. So.
They're in your algorithm, as Disney often is.
So yeah, that one went off like a lead balloon. Number 2 was Jeff's requested category, Magic. Question again, the word magic appears exactly 2 times in the list of every U.S. Billboard Hot 100 #1 song to date. I need you to name both the #1 song by a group named Magic and the artist behind a #1 song titled Magic. We'll start with Neal and Matt.
We wagered 25 and did not have a lot of ideas. I got Magic Carpet Ride. That's what we were thinking of the whole time, which is Steve Miller Band, I believe. No, I'm wrong.
And we knew Red Dress by Magic, which is like a #1 hit, but we couldn't get both of them.
Yeah, so we had nothing. And that's not even right. It's actually Rude, I believe.
Oh, is that the name of the
Why
band?
I gotta be so
That's
rude?
the name of the song.
Rude. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna marry her anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liz, we had 10 points on this one. What did we say? This was mostly you.
Rune, and I think it's B.O.B., but I could be wrong with the Magic song. I get them all confused.
No, you're right in as much as B.O.B. has a hit song titled Magic, Liz, that peaked at number 10 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100. Rude is the name of the song that hit #1 for 2010's group Magic. You've got to go all the way back to 1980 to find a song that hit #1 titled Magic, and that was recorded by Olivia Newton-John.
Okay.
So auspicious start to this final round. Let's move into number 3. Neal wanted a question that has to do with Spielberg. So I gave you one. As a last name, Spielberg is derived from the German for what word, which features in the plural as the title of a 2009 film directed by Zack Snyder, not Steven Spielberg. Figure we'll let Liz and Jeff take the lead.
Okay, we had 10 points on this one. And when I used to think of Zack Snyder movies that were way too long, I used to think of Watchmen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I know a lot of things about Spielberg. Didn't know about the name origins, but I knew Zack Snyder directed a movie called Watchmen, so the non-plural version would be Watchman. So that's what we locked in.
Yep, Watchman it is for your wagers apiece. Spielberg is the German word for the job description watchman.
All right.
All right.
And if I had had more time, there would have been a reference to Sony in there. There would have been a reference to Go Set a Watchman in there. But this was speed written, so you get Neal having to answer a question that is explicitly not about Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, love it.
Number 4, Matt wanted a question to do with Greed. Here it is. Greed was the title of a short-lived big money game show that aired on Fox from 1999 to 2000, hosted by what well-known name in game shows, who's been fairly criticized in recent years for a number of tweets that, among other things, claimed that the CDC, Democratic Party, media, and medical industry were lying about the COVID pandemic, which was retweeted by Donald Trump back when he could, retweet. Matt, this word salad was your fault, so we'll let you go first.
Yeah, it only lasted a year, so I'm guessing Greed was not good in this sense. But I think this was after he was giving away his own money, and we went with Ben Stein.
For 20 points.
We put 10 on the line, Liz, and I think you pulled this one.
We said Chuck Woolery.
Yeah, Chuck Woolery sucks and is correct. Yeah, he's had a number of politically charged and controversial tweets over the last several years. So I used to love Chuck Woolery as a game show host. Back in my childhood, I would watch Love Connection for no good reason. I believe he was the host of Scrabble as well. And then, Greed, I actually thought was a really good show for the season or two it was on. And now I'm happy I live in a world where I don't follow Chuck Woolery on Twitter.
Well, apologies to Ben Stein, who I'm sure is tweeting delightful things about dry red eyes.
And number 5, Ken, who didn't even bother to show up for the recording, still sent a suggestion on the category of Ocarina. Here's the question again. The Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time, is frequently ranked in the top echelon of greatest video games of all time, according to critics and publications. But conversely, the game Zelda, the Wand of Gamelon has been named one of the 10 worst video games ever created by multiple reviewers, mostly because it really sucks. This game was released in 1993 for what unsuccessful console produced by the Dutch tech company Philips?
Yeah, we wagered 20. This was on a system where they also released, I believe, Mario's Hotel. And after these two bombs, Nintendo said no one else is making games with our properties again. This was the Philips CDI.
Yeah, we wagered 10, which means we're going to be losing 10. And we just went with everyone/Neal's favorite, Atari Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Yes, the Philips console, the Atari Jaguar. 20 points going to Neal. Wrote a book on this one. It is the Philips CDI, and it had a lot of promise being one of the earliest CD-ROM-driven home gaming consoles. The problem is they kept putting out games like Zelda, the Wand of Gamelon, which after the episode, if you want to just take a look at some of the graphical stills from this thing, it is nightmare fuel.
Very bad.
So if my math serves me correct, which it often does not, I believe Team Neal wrote a book, and you should buy it. It's called Being Patrick Swayze, Essential Teachings from the Master of the Mullet, a comedic love letter of Patrick Swayze's life and career, available at all of your favorite bookstores.
By Neal E. Fisher, author, podcaster, director.
Loser of game.
Loser of game is minus 15 points for us over here. So we're going to end with 95. But today's cream of the crop, only losing 30 points in the final round, is Afternoon Guinness with 145 points.
The cream of the crop.
Great
Well done.
game.
Thank you, Liz, for joining me and pulling out this nice victory today. I feel like it was a nice team effort.
It was.
Liz said, I only know Disney stuff, and turns out that's not even close to true because she knew a lot of other stuff. So
Yeah, you helped your team win, Liz, and the floor is yours. Any shout outs, anyone you'd like to say hello to? We know that you work a very secretive job, so we don't want to give any code names out, but who would you like to say hello to?
Oh, I don't know. It's like one of those things when people ask you to like tell them about yourself and you panic. I'm like, oh, I didn't know there would be this part.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Shout out to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
There you
Why
go.
not? He needs more credit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Liz,
He's very charming.
he is very charming, and hopefully he'll listen to this, and maybe he'll
Become a patron.
Yeah, become a patron.
He's got money. Come on.
Liz, thank you so much for joining us today, though. We had a blast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Well, thank you for joining us and for being a Patreon supporter. And Jay, what a wonderful game that you've written with some great, muscle flexing there at the end.
Well,
with the
I
final
think
round.
what we learned is that the longer you spend on your questions, the easier they get, because right after you write them, they're very difficult.
You know what?
Very difficult,
Sometimes,
but-
yeah, I agree with you.
Where can all of our listeners find WTF and join in on the fun?
All right, so the World Trivia Federation is available to anybody on the Liquid Courage Patreon, patreon.com/Liquid Courage. That is courage with a K. For a donation every month of at least $2, you get full access. It is not tiered. It is a binary in-out situation. And that provides you currently 2 10-question quizzes a week to be done kind of at your own speed, at your own leisure, 36 hours to submit your answers. And we'll be increasing that sometime later this year to 3 quizzes a week, releasing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Outside of the WTF, you can find my content in the Chicagoland area at a bar near you. Hopefully, if you go and tell that bar to book Liquid Courage. And if you don't, you can stay and watch my content from the comfort of your own home on Twitch at twitch.tv/liquid_courage. Because believe it or not, somebody already had the name.
Okay.
Yeah, with a K.
Weird.
Wow. But they probably didn't pronounce it courage.
Well, nobody
like we
pronounces
have.
it courage, Neil. Nobody
That's true.
pronounces it courage.
Well, we appreciate you being here and giving us your yearly visit and just being a great friend. So thank you very much for joining us today, Jay.
Sincere pleasure as always to be here. I can't believe I think this is my 8th appearance on the show at this point.
So we're almost at 10.
Almost
Get
up
more
to as many
patrons.
times
That
as
way I
I've
don't have to
done.
keep coming back.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. Join us at patreon.com/Triviality Podcast, just like Jay and Liz. And since Jay is coming on for a yearly checkup in order to stay in good health like Jay, eat your vitamins, play your trivia, and listen to Triviality for Matt, Jeff, Liz, Jay, and Ken, who is out creating his own new company. My name is Neal, and that was Triviality.
That's not a treat, though. That's a treat
Oh,
dispensary,
Treat dispensary, right.
which would be a much better song.
Yeah.
I'll take you to the treat dispensary.
That's fine. We can go with yours, yeah.
Get Rich or Die Trying did come out in like 2003 for the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could
He'll
do
let you lick a lollipop at the treat dispensary.
The treat dispensary.
That would have been a much better
Yeah.
50-cent song.
Oh, when he's hanging upside down at the Super Bowl, if that's what he was singing. I think that we're gonna lock in with this wrong answer.